welcome to episode 35 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Dan McGuinness, and joining me as always on my meatiest wagon is my co-host, Jennifer, the Dream Warrior Strand.
Toot toot.
Ah, the toot. Together we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster memberships. We miss our VHS shops.
I know.
Video shops, as they're called. So, fun fact about me today is I once, straight into it.
This is great.
Wait,
I love it.
I once got my comic entry banned from a competition for being too offensive. Mm-hmm. And then the next year I went back into it in the same category and I won with the comic with the most amount of penises I've ever drawn. And the organisers were very unimpressed. It was a community voted thing.
Yep.
So like they couldn't say I couldn't win because I got the most amount of votes.
What was this elusively dick-filled comic?
Well, it's the 24-hour comic challenge it was.
Yep.
So basically you have to create a 24-hour comic in 24 hours. So every hour you have to do a new page and upload it to the competition. The year before, like I just did this hideously offensive one. Like it was, and I tried to get banned.
Oh, you tried and you did?
Yeah, it was really dodgy and running, it had some questionable ethics in it. But the second year I just did about this demon. It was called Timsley, the stereotypical demon, and it was just about he worked in hell and he got a day off and he just wanted to go to the beach. But there was dicks everywhere and and he met this big vagina in a bar and he lost his keys in her. And
This sounds amazing.
yeah, it's pretty good. And it won, categories. I was really happy. And then they never sent me the prize.
Oh, how fucking
Actually,
rude.
I've won a couple of times and they've never sent me the prize, ever.
Interesting.
It's just a badly organised. Well, it was. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah, okay.
But it went for years. It was such a good learning experience. But yeah, so you might be able to find it out on the web.
Oh, well, I'm very interested into seeking this dick-filled comic out. So what's it called?
Timsley, the stereotypical demon. But
Brings
yeah,
me joy. Yep.
I showed it to you. Not the kind of thing a children's book author should really be bragging about, but yeah.
That's fine. So we'll put it on the Facebook page for
No,
everyone for everyone to see.
What's your fun fact about you so our listeners know a little bit more about us each week?
Yes. So I broke my arm in a Slipknot mosh pit at the big day out one year. And I had to sign a waiver saying that I wouldn't sue because I refused to go to the hospital because I didn't want to miss out on System of a Down.
Oh, is that what sewed is?
Yeah.
I was like, what's sewed? You've written in your notes. Really? Well, those are both bands I do not listen to. But don't get me wrong, I was always into whatever genre of music that is. It's not metal, it's not.
It's like industrial metal,
Isn't
I
it
reckon.
new metal?
Yeah, the
Nu?
new metal.
I miss that whole
Yeah.
whole genre because I was just the wrong age for it and
That's
stuff. I was
fair.
a little bit too old to appreciate it, which is fine, and I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, I know lots of my friends. But yeah, so this is another arm breaking fact.
Yeah.
How many arm breaking facts do you have? Have you broken your arm heaps of times?
Yeah.
I want to just keep hearing them.
There's a lot, so I'll deal them out in over the coming weeks.
Yeah, can you remember what year it was of Big Day Out?
I don't remember. So whatever year Slipknot and System of a Down came, and this was Big Day Out, so this is still early, 2000s. And
All my Big Day Out experiences just blend into one.
I know.
It's just what year was that? Did they play? I have no idea. Can't remember.
I missed the last one that I was going to go to was when Rammstein was playing. So whenever that was.
Well, haven't they played a whole bunch? The year Rammstein played, had a bit to do with skateboarding at that time because the vert ramp was there, and I got backstage passes and stuff.
Oh, amazing.
From being in the skateboard community, and one of my big because I didn't like Rammstein. It's not that I didn't like them. I didn't know much about them.
Yeah.
They had those big jackets on. They looked like to me they just look like dressed up idiots. And I was in the green room and there was all this free food. So I'm there eating all the free food.
That sounds like.
And then someone's like, that's Rammstein. So I threw salad at them when they weren't looking. From their back, a bit of lettuce.
Yep.
And then they turn around. And I remember him turning around as this giant thing just spinning around going, And then I just moved away and hid. And then he just turned back around on his he had a pivot
Oh.
But I'm I've thrown lettuce.
You've thrown salad.
Lettuce, salad.
Yeah.
And the most unmetal thing, salad.
Salad. That's great. Well, whatever the last year that they came to Big Day Out, I reckon it was like 10 to 12 years ago. So I think it was one of the last Big Day Outs. I was meant to go because I had missed seeing them previously, and I ended up being so sick I went into hospital and I just didn't get to go. And that was the last time I went to Big Day Out. So
yeah. Well.
Good times.
And that doesn't happen anymore, does it?
No Big Day Out, no Soundwave.
When did that stop? That's so weird that stopped. That thing was huge.
Yeah.
That was massive. I think one of my mates, he had a lot to do with organising it and stuff. They must have lost his job.
I think so. Well, I think one of the guys that was running it was a bit dodgy in the end.
And this guy wasn't dodgy at all, I don't think. No, he was always good to me. I did work for his bands and got paid and stuff.
Well, I think by the time, because Soundwave was always at Benithan Park and people complained that it was too loud.
It was loud.
Yeah.
I don't care. No. It was loud. But no louder than my neighbours on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what, 1 day, 2 days out of a year? Like, you can calm down. I'm sure all the kids with their circuses are just as loud.
Yeah, it's true. So. Yeah, my neighbours on New Year's Eve, so it wasn't even a party neighbour. It was just the quiet neighbour who don't have kids or anything. They just hired like a sound device, with the lights and DJs hiring stuff that, adults do.
Yep.
Put it in their backyard and played it at top loud and then just stayed inside. so they weren't even out there. It was so loud. And then it was like, but because we live in a very cultural area, it was another culture's music. I wasn't quite sure which culture. I'm going to say Indian or something like that.
Yep.
So you got this full on loud Indian cranky music. But when there's a party, you usually hear people talk. There's no talking. You could just hear maybe one person inside talking.
It was just yelling at the TV.
Just a weird vibe.
Jesus. Well, he's probably like, okay, well, I'm going to get you all back for all the noise you make throughout the year.
I make no noise
Not
anymore.
You, but the rest
I used to. Back we used to have parties here.
Yeah.
I've had the cops here a couple of times, but yeah. Anyhow, let's move on to horror news. Yes, each week, me and Jen take you through the horror news that you need to know about. Welcome to Horror News!
For the new year.
For the new year. This is the first episode of 2021.
Fuck yeah.
Excellent. I'm excited about this year. Not because I care about COVID or anything. I'm just always excited.
Yeah. It's like, I'm good. It's happening.
What happened in news this week?
All right. So, do you remember Wishmaster?
Of course I do. We did a whole I did a whole thing on him.
We did Wishmaster, done by Wes Craven back in, 97, I believe.
Is it Wes Craven?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So that's finally getting a novelization. So we're talking a film that's now well over 20 years old.
Yeah, what? It's never had a novel version.
No, so I love a novelization.
Do you?
I do, because it's just so silly. It's just a silly concept, and I love it. Yes, that's the end of that chapter. But yeah, so it looks like they're doing a novelization which is written by the creator of Hellraiser 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, the best ones.
Yes.
Actually, 2's really good.
Yes.
Hellraiser 2 Hellbound. It's not the best, but yeah. But 3 and 4, what?
Yeah.
CD face?
I don't know. So 23 years later, I can't even pronounce this. Encyclopocalypse Publications, I did say it properly, I'm great, step into the fray to right this wrong. They've partnered with Peter Atkins to bring an original novelization to life. The book is written by Christian Francis and is based on Atkins' original screenplay.
Ooh, I wonder if it's quite different. It's good because, in your novels you can be as violent as you want and stuff like that, and no one ever hits you up on it. So
unless it's manga.
Because we had, remember we were starting to love, the Djinn? Is that his name? Djinn?
Yeah.
The Djinn at the end of it. He got a bit of sass to him. Got a bit Freddy Krueger
He got sassy.
He really enjoyed his work. He thought it was hilarious.
Well, look, if you don't love your job, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're a bloody turkey goblin.
That's right. Fucking turkey goblins.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll have time to read this.
I have a stack of books. I don't have time, and I feel that as I get older, I have a very small attention span.
I got for Christmas all the books of blood from Clive Barker because I bought them for myself and wrapped them up. But yeah, so I've got them waiting. I thought I'd read the first one, and I looked through it, and I realised I'd only read some of the stories that I thought, just judging by the name, the one I thought I wanted.
Yep.
But I've read The Midnight Meat Train, which they made
They did. They made that into a movie.
Film. I've always wanted them to do the Yattering and Jack. I want them to make a film out of that. Could be hilarious. Mm-hmm. It's so stupid.
I love it.
Anyhow.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I'll probably pick it up when it's in the $9 bargain basement bin.
Yeah, and just add it to the collection and never read it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
I should have got Dean Coots to write it.
Fucking Dean Coots. Sure.
All right, so... Well, we might get to see a bit more of the gin later on. Is it coming out this year?
It is, January 31st.
Oh, man, it's like this month.
So it's paperback and for Kindle, but because it's Encyclopocalypse Publications, I have no idea where you would find them. I'm guessing you would be finding it either...
Wait, paperback for Kindle? As in...
Oh, no, paperback and for Kindle. So you can either have a book
I was going to say,
what
are they like turned into a publishing company now?
No.
They're like, you know what? This thing doesn't work.
No one likes reading on a screen.
Actually, Kindles are pretty good, but I still like the... Do you know what I like about reading novels? I realised the other day, is that at every point when you start your novel, you can see exactly how far through you are.
Yeah.
Where a Kindle, you just kind of like... You got a page number there, but you don't get that visual, like...
Oh, I am one of these people that I will read a book.
Yeah,
so
sniff a book.
I will sniff a book. I love sniffing books. But the spines are broken, the pages are dog-eared. Like, I read a book. I don't just try and carefully, so it's meticulously put back.
Become a book.
It's
part of you.
I fuck that shit up.
Yeah.
It's well read.
I remember when I was reading, like, Cabal, like the club, it has, like, it had this really ornate cover, and it kind of had, like, a border around the cover, with all, like, little pictures of it, which represented tiny things within the story. And I remember studying them just to know what certain characters looked like and all stuff like that. And had one of the tiny one has, like, a little of, like, the button face, zipper face in there. And it's just like, and those were the novel days. Actually, the novel days haven't changed. They're exactly the same. They're just words.
I just don't have time for novels.
But my Book of Bloods that I got are quite cheap. I got them on Book Depository.
Oh, fantastic.
They were like fuck all for both of them. And they're quite thick. But like when I opened up, it looks like it's been typed on a typewriter, the font. It's kind of a bit dodgy. And I'm like, am I going to be able to read this?
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit rounded, the edges
You're sitting there with that, what your grandma would have, one of those large, like, magnifying glasses over the books. Yeah.
Anyhow. What's next?
All right. So it looks like filming has wrapped on Sony's Resident Evil horror movie Reboot.
Now, this has nothing to do with Miller.
No.
Or that dude, her husband who puts her in every film.
No.
Okay,
so they've so this is Johannes Roberts is directing a feature film for Constantine Films. And that's got nothing to do with Miller. It's got nothing to do with her husband that keeps putting her in things.
Anything to do with John Constantine?
Maybe.
I'm trying to... Because it's spelt the same. Is Constantine a normal name? Or is it just or the John Constantine character? Actually, no, I have a Billy Constantine who comes into my shop.
No, Constantine's a normal name. Like, I think it's Russian.
They made Wrong Turn.
Oh, the original or the reboot?
2003.
Yep.
Do you know what else they made? Constantine Films?
What?
The Never Ending Story.
Yes.
How weird. And yeah, right. They've got a bag of weird films that they've done. 45 films or
and I'm okay with it.
They made Monster Hunter.
I withdraw my conversation.
They made all the other Resident Evil films as well. Oh no, this might be a fucking cashier of a movie.
Okay, so the cast includes K.S. Scodelario. She was in Crawl, but most people would know her as Effie from Skins. She's playing Claire Redfield. Hannah John Carmen, she's in Ant-Man and Wasp. She's playing Jill Valentine. Robbie Armel from Upload is Chris Redfield. Tom Hopper from the Umbrella Academy is Wesker. And Avon Jogia, I'm so sorry, from Zombieland as Kennedy, and Neil McDonough is William Birkin. So there's a few people in there that I do know and a bunch that I have no idea.
Weird, like, Tom Hooper as Wesker. Wesker to me is, that big, broad-shouldered, sunglass-wearing, basic Nazi poster boy. And then they get, like, what is it, Space Boy or Ape Boy from... Like,
oh, him.
Yeah, he's like the love interest, the softie.
Yeah.
And again, If he buffs up, if he buffs up, he would look the part. Actually.
I think if he buffed up, he could do it.
I'm always bad with that thing. I look at an actor and go, they don't look right, and then in the film, they're perfect.
Yeah.
Like the dude from from Mr. Robot that was Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, and he was just absolutely perfect. I'm like, wow, you're an actor.
Acting.
You transformed into a different person. I don't know about Jill, like Hannah John Carmen as like Jill. Like, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Redfield, she looks. Yeah. I don't know.
That's fair. So statement was given that with this movie, I really want to go back to the original first 2 games and recreate the terrifying, visceral experience I had when I first played them. Oh. Whilst at the same time telling a grounded human story about small dying American town that feels both relatable and relevant to today's audience.
Well, that's going to be heaps different from the game because the game never ever went to the town apart from Raccoon City in the number 2.
Yep.
Maybe that's what he means. Hang on, does that mean both those games are going to be crunched into one film?
Quite possibly.
Oh, dear.
Or they're planning a 2 film.
I think the slow burn would be good for Resident Evil film, like a remake of the first game, because, like, start off... I mean, there's no one out there that doesn't know the story. There might be, actually. Of just, like, the slow burn of, like, you know, the group that gets called to a house, and as it goes through, it discovers it's a bloody big old lab, and there's a shark in there. At some stage.
I love sharks. You had me at sharks.
Underground lab shark.
So yeah, this will probably be out. It will be released theatrically in 2021. No official date yet. No trailers. No nothing. So I don't know. Like I'll probably go see it. We'll probably do an episode on it.
Oh, definitely. Oh yeah. I mean, I love Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of it. I just keep playing them and keep being disappointed. Apart from like 7, which was unbelievably good, and then the recent remakes were really really cool as well.
I enjoyed.
It was really upsetting that they couldn't do the first game in that remake style and start and go the whole way through.
Yep.
Because they did that whole thing of what I said. Because we've got Village coming out.
We do,
which is basically 7. So they've done it that you can play Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, Resident Evil 7, and then Resident Evil Village, and that's the chronological order of those games. It's weird. Like, and they've cut out. They've just gone, you know what? 5, 6, and 3. Yeah, they did.
Most people didn't like 5 or 6, did they?
No, because they just went like... They basically went Fast and Furious.
Yep.
Like, they just turned into like, how ridiculous can we go? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter. It did like, you know, ground itself in a video game world. You know what I mean? Like, it was a video game.
Yeah.
It wasn't like them trying to tell like an epic story like they're doing in 7 and I assume Village. But anyhow.
Yeah.
That's good. We should move on to our spoiler cast section. Yes, every week, me and Jen set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and then we go through it the next week, scene by scene, spoiling the fuck out of it for you and everyone else that listens. It's a deep dive into glorious gore, hard edits, cheesy acting, directing madness, bad everything else.
Dicks.
The compound fractures all the time. We have what is it called? A rating system?
We do. We have a rating system. So for those of you playing at home, here's our rating system. So we've got A, which is awesome, everybody should watch. B is a beer and chicken wing group movie. F is for fun and dumb. C is a classic that's worth a watch. We've got the U, which is super underrated. G, good for its time, but is not held up. We've got J, Jen special. The D, Dan special. We've got a W, which is whatever, so off my radar. And we've got the Kesha, which is a low-budget hot mess. And then we've got the McConaughey, which is the fucking fuck. Just don't watch it.
Yeah, it's like basically brown noise up for your eyes.
The brown sound.
The brown sound. So this week we watched DEATHGASM from 2015. Now last week I have to correct myself. Yep. I thought it was a German film.
Yep.
It's not. It's a bloody New Zealand film. It's wicked.
It's really funny because
I don't know why.
I don't know why. I was like, yeah, no, it is German. But then I'm sitting there going, fuck, I don't want to watch a German film. I don't want to read subtitles. I'm tired. And then it was like when I was looking it all up and it's like, oh yeah, it's a New Zealand film. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I know. And I just thought of German or like Swedish or Scandinavian because it's metal.
The metal.
Yeah, death metal. Not black metal though, which is different.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Who's the director?
So the director is Jason Lee Howden, or Hoden, however you'd like to pronounce it. He recently did Guns Akimbo.
Whoa.
Did you see Guns Akimbo?
Yeah.
How fucking good was that?
It was a good fun film. It wasn't a good film. It was just a heaps fun
film. It was fun. I loved it.
That's definitely a fun and dumb film.
Yeah.
And I can see in that humour, he's really got a style of humour. Like this. Did he write it?
He did. He also wrote it.
Okay, so yeah, this dude definitely has a thing going for it. Like, he has that, I don't know, New Zealand people that come out to do horrors have this really, like, niche vibe of, like, really, they know what they want to do. They know what they think is funny, and they don't give a fuck, hey?
No.
And this film had that. Okay, so who's the starring?
So it stars Milo Cawthorn, James Joshua Blake, and Kimberly Crossman, sorry.
Milo Cawthorn? It's a great name.
Yeah, it is.
That's like, sounds like a Sean McAuliffe name that he'd like put on.
It's like a character.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't have I couldn't find a lot of information regarding the budget and the box office. So I know that he had won a prize. He'd done the short film competition. He'd won a prize. So he won like $20,000 to do a film. So he had to, present an idea, and if it won, he got budgeting. But I don't know if that was what they stuck with, was just that amount of money, or whether they, went through. Because there's a bunch of shirts that are used throughout this film, and getting the rights to have those on screen alone would have probably cost that much money.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow. So have you seen my fun fact of this, how fucking weird it is?
Yeah, I did. And I was like almost tempted to give it a crack, but then I was so tired that I was just like, no, I'm done.
So the fun fact is there's a rumour that if you play this movie muted and play it side by side with Iron Maiden's Live After Death concert, the whole film is edited with the same cuts.
Yeah, it simultaneously syncs up, which is very interesting.
And weird.
Yeah.
Which I just don't think it's true. It's an awesome rumour, though. That's the kind of rumours I love that are just ridiculous. Like, there's no reason why they would have done that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just can't be true. But I like that rumour.
Well, I guess it depends on how much you like metal.
It's true. It's true. I mean, Live After Death, I had that album. And I never watched it that much. But I've listened to that album all the time. And I just can't see them. Maybe it'd be so hard, and so you spent all this time and money on making a film. Why would you just do its cuts to that? And the film itself, like, was really well cut. So I just can't believe that. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna have to test it.
You can test it if you want, but I'm a skeptical.
You're a skeptic. I love it.
Yep, that's it. Not a skeptical. I'm not like a pair of glasses that you wear and then
you're a spectacle,
and then you don't believe anything. Skepticals.
All right.
Anyhow, so the film opens with metal music. We get this animation, and it's basically reminiscing of high school animations kind of things. You've got scratching, when you draw and everything in high school.
It's in a notebook. It's like drawing, it's got dicks, it's heavy metal, skulls, it's
Satan, like pentagrams and shit. It's all like to music. It's saying, the names, like, DEATHGASM. It's got, dicks.
Yeah.
Vaginas. It's got like guts coming out of like little dodgy drawn stick figures. It's basically an animation of everything you drew in like, on your books and on the back of a ruler and stuff like that.
That's exactly how I imagine your childhood.
Me, yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, they need more Dead Kennedy signs and stuff. I was more into, I suppose, would you call like Iron Maiden and Anthrax and that metal?
That's metal.
It is?
It is metal. It's metal of its time.
It's a facet of metal.
Yeah. Because there's a whole fucking subgenre of metal.
Yeah, dude.
The metal community is very...
They actually go through that in this.
They do,
He goes into it. I know of that. Then we cut to a shot of town, New Zealand, which is, what's the town called? It's, I was going to write this down.
I can't even remember the name of the town. Fuck, I'm so sorry. But there is an opening monologue setting the scene.
Yeah, so...
as it goes into this idyllic sort of New Zealand town.
Yeah, our protagonist is, at the moment, narrating over it.
So he's basically stating, his mum went on a bender, tried to suck off a cop, and was put into a mental institution.
Went on a meth binge, so you're like, oh, he's had a fucked. Grow up.
So he's now on his way to live with his uncle, who is balls deep into Jesus.
Yeah, that's funny. And Brody himself, the character, we see him.
Yes.
He is a metalhead. He's like young.
He's kind of tall, skinny.
He's gaunt.
Yeah.
Long hair, wears the beanie, wears the spray-on jeans, the denim jacket, the metal. Very baby-faced.
Yes, he is. But he's got a fucking chiseled jaw.
I know. He's very, what's Loki's character? Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but straight away, his voice is adorable.
Yeah.
The New Zealand accents, man.
I love it.
Oh, man. So this film it's almost like they know that they've got the New Zealand accent and they say stuff on purpose in this film, which is hilarious.
Yes.
I think we were saying before, I think New Zealand is one of the most adorable accents in the entire world.
Yeah.
For some reason, they just like, in this film, they're doing the most grossest shit, but because they're doing it in a New Zealand accent, it's like, oh.
Well, I mean, the best example of that is Taika doing fucking Hitler.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Exactly. So he gets sent, after his mum gets arrested, he gets sent to live with his uncle, and his auntie, and his cousin. His cousin, David, who's a fucking sports jock dickhead. Which is a great character, actually.
Yeah.
I hated him so much. So then we cut to school after, and we get introduced to Dion.
Yes.
So Dion is Brody's only friend, and he's getting bullied by his cousin David for the opening. They're like shoving.
They're shoving dye up his nose.
Dye?
Yeah, Dion's
a
bit of a D&D nut, and so they're shoving the dye up his nose.
Yeah, so we're still we're getting like the overlays of him still monologuing about how much a dick of a cousin he is. And we got Dion is like the ultra nerd and all this shit. Then we're interested. Then Dion gets up and he's like all dishevelled and that, and then we see.
It's not the worst place he's had a dye shoved, apparently.
Yeah. There's heaps of like disposable funny comments. So I didn't write them all down, but there's a lot of humour in this film. This film's funny.
Yes.
This is a horror comedy at its fucking heart. It's so good. Then we get introduced straight away to Medina, which is the worst name.
It is.
Medina. Medina.
Yeah.
Medina.
And
especially in the New Zealand accent. Medina. I can't do it. Medina is like the heartthrob. She's like the perfect girl in high school. And
blonde hair, nice body, and just pretty.
And unfortunately, she's going out with fucking Brody's jock of a fucking cousin, David.
Yes, she is watching awkward boners. Across the school.
Well, they basically like it's one of those moments where like Dion says to Brody like, "She's out of your league, mate. Why are you even looking at her?"
Yeah.
And but then then Dion turns to Brody and goes, "Do you want to do something really crazy?" And
you want to do something badass?
And then hard cut to them just playing D&D in like the study room.
Yep.
With like Brody just fucking disheveled as fuck.
He's not having it. And now we're introduced to another guy, Giles,
which is like basically the big guy from Mallrats.
Yeah.
What was his name? Willem.
Yeah.
Basically the Willem. Just imagine a New Zealand Willem from Mallrats. The guy that's staring at, the 3D picture in Mallrats.
Yep.
And they're all playing D&D together. They're fucking hard nerding it. And as I said, Brody's just sitting there fucking
He's just having none of it. He's like, you cast a fireball at a fire troll. Come on.
Yeah, what did you expect was going to happen? I got it.
You got it.
By the end of the episode, I'll actually have a proper New Zealand accent.
I love it. At this point, Brody's he decides he's going to stick his headphones on. He's just, starts listening to his metal, and we get
to escapism.
Yeah, we get taken to this really cool dream sequence. It's like this mountain in the middle of nowhere, and he's shirtless on top of a mountain, shredding on his guitar with some like hot lady at his side, and turns to her and he's like, "Oh, she's wearing a top. We'll have none of that." Like laser beams, her top off.
Laser beams come out of his eyes.
We got some titties floating around, and he's like back to playing his metal, and it's like, yes.
And then you're like, oh, that's not the kind of film this is like. Yeah, and it's like good metal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
The soundtrack's really good.
This film got really bad ratings when I was like looking it up, and all of them were metal dudes going, "This is bullshit. This isn't good real metal." And I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing, because they're like, oh, it's like, I watched this film thinking it was going to be metal, and the main character's a fucking pussy. And I was like, oh my god, like, you're the dudes they're paying out.
Yes.
And there was like 4 1 out of 10s in a row of the exact same kind of shit of like dudes going, this isn't real fucking metal. I'm like, oh my god, merit. This is what I've learned about metal in my life. People who are really into metal understand that metal is fun. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not, I mean, it is a lifestyle, but it's not like they love it for how ridiculous it is. I mean, your main thing with metal is you love Satan. And you do it with a tongue in your cheek because Satan is hilarious. Like, the idea that he even exists of you worshipping Satan is funny enough as it is. And that's what true metal is to me. It's a super fun genre of music.
You just got to get the fun of it. Don't take too... Well, like, look at Boyd. You know Boyd. Yeah. I work with him. He's a fucking metalhead, but he is an absolute sweetheart.
Exactly.
Look at all the guys at Underground. They're all metalheads and they're...
Underground Records.
Prospect Road.
But
they're fucking great. Like, none of them would be sitting there watching this film going, oh, this is not like this thing of metal.
Oh, they're not taking metal serious enough.
Yeah.
So and that's what I love about it. Like, I've got, I love wearing a pentagram on a t-shirt purely because of its stupidity. And the fact that it makes people angry. And I'm like, but it's stupid. Yeah. I thought Jack Black always said, like, someone was interviewing him and he's like, why do you like Satan so much? And he goes, like, he's my favorite mythical, like, made-up character. And when you say that, it basically means that God's made up and everything. And the dude was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, that's the reason why people worship him, because he's so ridiculous that he's not even real.
Well, you got to take the fun out of everything you do.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously. You give yourself a heart attack.
So then they're playing the D&D, and then Brody's like, dream, like, escapism is interrupted by fucking David and his goons running in and super soaking them while they're playing their D&D, and then they look at themselves, they're all wet, and then like
it's piss.
Yeah, they say that using. Giles has the best line here. He goes, "They sprayed us with piss again." Again? It's happened before.
It's just a daily thing for them.
Again. Oh, man. That line, I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
So then we cut to Brody in class.
He's in his math class. He's not paying attention.
We get introduced to kind of like this like funny New Zealand teacher. He's a strict dude. He wears like shorts and Birkenstocks.
Long socks.
Yeah, Birkenstock wearing like shorts. The old teacher guy doing maths, and he's like he's there escapism and like doing some drawing, some metal drawing.
Some dick drawings.
Heaps of dudes that are into metal are heaps good at drawing. Have you always noticed that? Like heaps of metal drawing.
A lot of dicks. Stuff. A lot of dicks.
Yeah, there's dicks on there. Oh, dude, I love drawing a dick. Don't get me wrong. I am so good at drawing a dick. I was known in my art community as the guy that draws dicks.
So coming in 2021, TerrorVision t-shirts with dicks.
Well, my skateboard company, I hear dicks in all my art. To the point where it annoyed my team riders so much. Because they were like, look at my sweet ad. And their mate's like, is that a dick?
It's like, you'll never know.
Yeah. So, yeah, he gets busted for drawing by the teacher.
Yeah.
And we get a humorous scene of like the teacher.
He just kind of sneaks up behind him as well, and he's just over his shoulder, and he's like, not paying attention.
Is that me? I can't remember what he said, but yeah.
Something is like a dick in my ass or something. I can't remember the quote. Don't quote me on it.
Yeah. But they say he screws up the drawing and throws it in the bin. At this point, we see Medina seems quite interested in just what's happening. Not interested in him. She's kind of looking at him. She's interested as in curious.
Well, and there's literally no other metalhead kids around.
Well, it is that thing where, like, girls are attracted to the badasses. And he was being a badass. He was being naughty. Drawing dicks.
Yep. It's the ultimate badass.
Yeah, so then we cut to after school.
Yep.
And we see Medina getting in the car with David as a boyfriend. And here it solidifies the fact that she's interested in badasses. Mm-hmm. Because, like, she's going out with the biggest cockhead in the world.
That's right.
He solidifies hard that he's a dickhead in this thing. He basically, what does he do?
He's like, I thought we'd go for a ride. She's like, no, I don't really want to.
I suppose he fucking has a go at her for just being late.
Yeah, always fucking late.
Yeah.
And then I think Brody walks past and he's like, "Oh, that fucking dickhead! I'm gonna beat him so hard." And Then he's like, she's like, just take me home. He's like, I thought we'd go for a ride. She's like, yeah, I don't know. You bullying people is not really a big turn on.
And he fucking gets, and because he starts to, like, straight away you realise he's going to start taking his anger out on Brody.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, in his dumb mind, he'd say, who fucked me over just then by being a fucking pussy? Then we cut to Brody. He's walking away home and he comes to his favourite record shop, Alien Records, which reminded me of Underground straight away. I was like, there's the haven of Underground Records, which is mine and Jen's record shop for metal.
Yep.
I'm thinking, weirdly enough, I was actually thinking of getting more into metal after watching this film.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm into my metal as it is, but I'm like, you know, I haven't had a good metal album in a while, and I might ask some of my metal friends, what's a good one I haven't heard recently?
Yeah.
And we get introduced. So he's, you know, this is a metal shop. This is like, you know, dingy little, like, records, vinyl shop. You know, it's got the metal music playing. There's, like, the record owner. He mentions
his wife.
And the wife does, like, tarot readings there. She's, like, the town psychic. Is that psychic? Is that the word?
Yeah. Medium, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And then we see there's another metal dude in the shop. And this is where we get introduced to Zach.
Yes.
Zach, Z-A-K-K.
They have a lovely little scene together, I think. So it's that very quiet appreciation where, you know, you don't walk up to someone and be like, hey, I'm blah, 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 let's be friends.
Especially when you're trying to be cool metal dudes.
Yeah, so they're standing there, they're going through records, they're pulling out certain albums, and you see, like, a bit of a scoff or a bit of a...
They're basically sizing each other up by their metal appreciation, by what they listen to.
Some dick measuring.
Yeah, and they're like... So one will pull out a record, as in just to look at it. The other one will look at it and go, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm really offended that they pissed on Poison, though, because I'm like, Poison's great hair metal? Fuck off.
Yeah. I thought the scene was adorable. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is pure metal culture. That's what dudes do. They see who they listen to, and then they bond through their music.
They do, and I see that a lot through my shop. Don't really appreciate that, but I see it.
You see people bonding from the shit they buy?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Just dick measuring, really. But yes, they do. They do bond.
Yeah, it's like, actually, Hime didn't come up into that scene until episode 24, so she wouldn't have been in that one.
Yep. It's taking me back. Back.
And then basically after that scene, we get a montage of them becoming best mates.
Yeah.
Best mates.
Best mates.
You know, they're driving around, they're getting wasted, they're smoking bongs, they're doing graph, they're doing burnouts. So basically... And it's also instilling that there's nothing to do in this town.
Yeah.
They're in a small New Zealand town, and for metalheads, it's like the worst. So it's just showing that there's nothing much to do. They like burn Hail Satan into the school lawn.
Yeah,
you know, like
they give you a little recipe to how to make napalm as well.
Well, I actually knew that recipe because that was how we made napalm, and I'm doing air quotes here because it's clearly not napalm.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure the American army didn't make napalm by melting styrofoam into petrol.
Nah, probably not.
It does work pretty well, though.
But we get this sort of, like, idea of who Zach is. So, you know, his dad's a bit of a drunk. He steals shit. He just drinks. He's the guy that does not give a fuck.
He's the bad kid. Like, you know, in your group, that now that we're all grown up, you can think back to versions of those kids. Always. And they always fucked up.
Yeah.
They always did shit like they got busted for. Like, why... number one, why'd you do that so obviously, and why'd you get busted? Because they don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. They don't care that they're going to get busted. He is like, he has no parental responsibility. His dad's like a bit of a fuck up. He owns a garage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So. But yeah.
And they do their little blood oath as well.
Oh yeah, they do blood bros. Like, they cut their hand and then give each other fucking predator predator grab with like the metal fingers.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. And then,
you know, well, what else are you going to do when you're metalheads living in a small town? There's nothing else to do. You start a fucking band.
You do. So they get Giles and Dion. So Dion's on keyboard, Giles is on drums.
Yep.
So there's all four of them. Zach's a bit apprehensive about the other two because they're fucking nerds and shit. And then he comes in like, this is the first time they've ever practiced. They haven't even played a song yet. And he's like, first things first, what are we called?
Yep.
And then we get this is amazing. So there's a lot of like, we didn't mention, there's a lot of animations, like, you know, the scratchy animations we were talking about at the start, as in, like, drawing. There's a lot of that done over the whole film.
Yes,
like,
which I love. I love that in a film.
Yeah, so did I, like, and then they go through, all of them kind of start brainstorming, the band names, which I've written them all down.
Oh, please, go.
So the first one is Murder Boner. Then we get Toothed Vagina.
Oh, yes.
Then we get Maggot Sperm.
Yes.
Then we get Cannibal Unicorn. And then my favourite one, Giles, like, what about just 13 S's? Like, that's such a good name.
Which is funny because there is an actual film, not with 13 S's, but there is a film just called...
I was also thinking there might actually be another metal band which is something similar to that they're homaging there.
Possibly.
What about just 13 S's? But then Zach decides for them, we're going to be called DEATHGASM.
All in uppercase because lowercase is for pussies.
Yeah, I wrote that. Like, that's a heaps good line. All in capitals because lowercase is for pussies. There are so many lines in this.
Yeah.
Like...
This is a very quotable film.
Then so that scene's done. They kind of have a bit of a practice. We see that Brody's competent on the guitar, but he's not really good at solos.
Yeah, he's not quite got his confidence. He's not a confident guy, so just he'll get there.
And then there was a scene earlier on in the film that we mentioned as well, is when they were sizing each other up, doing their broing out over what records. They both really bonded over a record called Hacks and Swords.
Yes.
Which I think may be a made up band for this movie, which is the one they love the most. That's like their band. Anyhow, cut to nighttime. Zach and Brody are out doing mischief, and he's like, Zach's like, come with me, we're going to do something. He puts a balaclava on it and he breaks into this old, fucked up house. It's like a wreck. What are they called? An abandoned...
It's like an abandoned house.
Abandoned house.
Yeah.
What are they called? That doesn't matter.
It's a nice house too.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
You know.
But it's all boarded.
It's a real fixer-upper.
Yeah, it's a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Although you need to get Costa in to do the garden and shit like that. But although it's all boarded up and stuff like that. They break in. Anyhow, there's a bit of a spooky scene of them walking through. Like, Zach scares Brody and have a bit of a laugh or whatever.
Then we see a lot of newspaper clippings on the wall. A lot of, for Ricky Daggers and Hacks and Sword.
Oh, Ricky Daggers. Is that like...
Yeah. That's the name. That's the guy. Yeah. And they're basically, like, they go through this process of, he was the biggest band in the world, this, that, and the other. Now he's, like, disappeared to some small abandoned town in New Zealand, and they're like, oh,
what the no fucking way. So they've walked into, what's his name, Ricky Daggers' hideout. So he's become so big, he went so underground that he just like disappeared, and they've found his hideout, and he's the singer of Hacks and Swords, their favourite band. Anyhow, they walk into a room and they see Ricky Daggers passed out in a room that's got a whole wall of amps and fucking speakers.
Pentagrams on the wall.
And shit. Like, it's still a wreck. It's still fucking...
Yep.
Spray paint everywhere and shit. Ricky Daggers is on a fucking meth, a druggy mattress just on the ground, passed out. He looks dead and he's holding a fucking record.
The Hacks and Sword record. Yeah, it does. It's very... he kind of looked a lot like Iggy Pop.
I thought it was Iggy Pop when he
could have
So just imagine Iggy Pop in all these scenes, like long hair Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
I think he cut his hair recently, didn't he? I think?
Did he?
Don't know.
I don't know.
And now they're like, fuck, he's got a record. Let's steal it. So they steal it out of his hands and look at it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Ricky Daggers wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do?
He wakes up and he's got a baseball bat and he's threatening them. And he's like, okay, when are you a cultist cunts ever gonna learn?
He throws the cunt word around.
He does. He throws it around and he's like, how the fuck did you find me?
Cunts.
And it's like, he holds up a zine, doesn't he?
Yeah, Zach goes like, you've been outed by like, it's like a full underground like zine.
Metal zine.
Yeah, a metal, but like full on just like, photocopied old school zine. Like,
I love a zine.
Quintessential, over, what is that, because it's only black and white, so it's high contrast, dodgy zine. And I don't know if it's a real zine, it might be, but like basically got outed dude, and he's like, fuck!
Yeah.
Because that means other people know where he is.
Yes, cut to. There's a man in a suit driving in a car.
A men in black, I call him. Basically, men in black.
Men in black. And he's driving up to the house. He's checking. He's got a switchblade in his pocket, and he's got
a copy of the zine as well.
He does.
So he knows. He's got the same
They know.
intel.
So then he heads into the house, and meanwhile, like, they're talking about, they're still having this sort of, like, talk with Ricky. The guy comes into the house and...
First he's like, but Ricky Daddy's like, give me that fucking record back. It's too fucking powerful.
Yeah, it's too powerful for you kids. Like, you don't know what you're doing. Fucking blah, 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 blah. And then the guy comes in, Ricky swings at him with the bat. He grabs the bat and he fucking clubs him in the face. Full clubs him in the face.
Yeah, like the Man in Black, clubs.
Walks around the back of him and not just fucking slits his throat, but almost takes his head off.
Yeah, this is a good looking throat cut.
Good.
Yeah, because it shows it like a big, good couple of inches that went in and like opened up and then the blood poured out. So Ricky Dagger's gone.
Yeah.
The other dude's like, fuck.
Yeah.
They bail. They've still got the record in tow. Mm-hmm. Is that the right word? Doesn't matter.
Yep.
First, before Ricky Daggers dies, he gives them the record. Once he realizes this Man in Black is there, he's like, "You got to protect the record.
Yeah.
Take it, guard it with your life."
Mm-hmm.
And then that scene happens where he gets out. So they run out.
They piss off.
And then they basically bail, and that's the end of the scene there. And it cuts to that Zach and Brody at home, like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, you know.
Yeah. So they open up the record, and Zach is pissed off to find a Rick Astley record in the sleeve of the Haxton sword.
There's not even a record, and they get rickrolled.
He got rickrolled. He's pissed off and he's thrown it, and meanwhile some sheet music has fallen out onto the floor. Brody picks it up, and they're like, "Oh, what is this?" Like, some Latin words. I don't know what that means. Like, they're like, "Let's learn it."
Yeah. They're like, we should fully learn this and play it in DEATHGASM.
We'll make it a DEATHGASM song.
Make it a DEATHGASM song. I gotta like wicked. Because everything the characters said in this film to me just seemed amazingly acted because New Zealand accents are just cool to listen to. I got the same thing with Brain Dead. Actually, whilst I think they're playing, like, Giles is wearing a Bad Taste t-shirt.
He is, yeah.
I think the whole film.
Yeah.
Which I love. Like, and you can tell that New Zealand would fully worship that film, eh?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Peter
reckon.
Jackson, Bad Taste.
Well,
you haven't watched it yet, have you?
No, I haven't. But also the guy that directed and wrote this, he actually was part of the Peter Jackson's Weta Studios. He was a designer or animator or something. So,
nice.
Yeah, so he has, like...
He might have a lot of to do with, like, the effects as well. Like, he might have a hands-on a bit into the effects. If you work for Weta, man, you know what you're fucking doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that they decide they're going to play it. Do they play it? Not yet.
They don't play it yet.
We cut to a big kind of rich now mansion, white room with pillars and stuff, and we've got this guy sitting at a desk, and we have the Man in Black that we saw before coming up.
Comes into the room and he's chatting. He's like, I was there. I found the guy. The record wasn't there though. I couldn't get it.
Someone else got it.
Someone else got it. They've pissed off, but let me go find it. He doesn't say the
record. He says the pages. The pages are now what's most important.
Yeah. So basically, like this guy behind the desk, he's like, well, you failed. That's it. You failed me. And then from there.
Keep going.
The fucking funniest scene in the film, I reckon.
Oh, you like it?
I fucking love this scene. So then two cloaked guys in
occultists.
masks.
So these are the occultists.
Yeah. They come out from behind literally from behind the woodwork. And they, he's like, kneel down. He's like, So he kneels down, and they immediately decapitate him.
Good decapitation as well. All the gore in this shows majority of the gore.
We get a lot of blood splatter, a lot of, like, blood all over the carpet, head rolls, and then the guy yells at him. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? This is like a $10,000 carpet.
It's a $10,000 rug.
You gotta put the tarp down. Why didn't you put the tarp? Do it again. And they're like,
what?
Just kind of looking there.
And do it again.
Do it again. So
they drag a tarp out.
They drag a tarp out, kneel him up, grab his severed head.
Hold it on there. And just go, dunk. And so half-heartedly just chop through it because they're not doing anything, and it falls onto the tarp.
But then one of them does this, like,
ta-da,
kind of hands gesture, and he's like, that'll do.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. That'll work.
And
I'm like, what? Mate, so that's just to show that they're a really unhinged, rich society that don't make any sense. So they're basically a comedy cult. Like, it was funny. I was like...
that was probably one of my favourite scenes in the whole film.
Then we cut to another amazing scene. So they've decided to make a film clip, DEATHGASM.
Yep.
They're in their fucking, what do they call it? War makeup? No.
Corpse paint.
Corpse paint. Mm-hmm. They're in their corpse paint. They, and this is a massive piss take or homage to, well, I actually saw this because Ross had showed me this previously of a band called Immortal. Mm-hmm. And they did a film clip of Call of the Winter Moon. And it was basically just them in a forest, playing in their corpse paint, really badly shot, and it's famous because of how shit it is.
Yes.
And they're a massive, like, black metal band.
Yeah.
I think in one of those Scando countries. And, and this is just a massive homage to that, which I thought was really funny. The end shot of this, of, like, why it all dissipates, because, like, Giles just gets too into it and starts wanking off a sword. There's a sword in the ground, and he, like, they're all, like, being metal, and he just, like, gets too into it.
Someone that always just goes too far.
Wanking off the hilt of the sword. And it just, everyone just like, it fully just puts them all off and they all end up looking at a shot disgusted in it. I fucking laughed at that. Hey, I rewound it and watched it again. Oh man, that was hilarious. So that was just a little like bit of comedy interlude just to show how metal these dudes are and just a nice callback and, nod to Immortal.
Yep.
Amazing. Then it cuts to the guys hanging out at the shops.
Yep.
Right, they've gone to the local 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm. They're all still in their corpse paint. Clearly on their way home.
From their sleeping. And then Brody bumps into Medina. Mm-hmm. And drops her purse. He helps her pick it all up. And they have a moment. And he's like, oh, yeah. And nice. He's like adorable. He's in his corpse paint, but he's still so nice, so nervous, talking to her. But like...
Just a sweetheart.
And she's like, oh, do you want to go out for ice cream? And he's like, yeah, right.
He's like, well, we're done for the day. You can go out.
Yeah, and always mates are like behind him doing like rooting gestures and all this shit. Like,
standard mate things.
Standard mate stuff. And it cuts to them. He's sitting in like this park on a little bench. Like
it's just a perfect picture too. Because he's in this full corpse paint. They're in this beautiful little park setting. She's like in just normal, it's like a floral dress, just looking very perfect.
A summer dress, yeah. And he's there corpse paint licking an
like,
ice cream. Yeah. And it's. I was like, oh my god, this is so nice.
It is. It's
he's
sweet.
Adorable. He starts like he has like they have a little monologue about like why metal's cool. He goes he describes like the different genres of metal to her and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, it's all just screaming. It's like, oh, not all of it is, but and then it's like, oh, but this is and this is and this
Screamo,
is and this is and and this is. But not all of it.
So that lends her a couple of CDs for a Discman. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Anal Cunt. And I'm like, oh my God, Anal Cunt gets a reference in here. That's an actual band I did used to listen to a fair lot. So Anal Cunt gets a reference. Love that.
I think Cattle Decapitation got a reference as well.
Yeah,
yep.
Oh, yeah. There were bits in the movie. I'm like, is that a real band? I think all of them were, apart from Hacks and Sword and DEATHGASM. I think they're the only not real metal bands in it, maybe. Because I can't see a metal band ever carrying their CDs in a
If anything, they would want it to be in there.
And then we cut to David, his dickhead cousin, who is going out with Medina at that time. He's like basically in the bushes watching them, getting angry. So giving him more fodder to hate on Brody.
I enjoyed her flirting with Brody though, because she's there and she's like, oh, I rescued your picture because I thought you might like it back. And you're a really good drawer. I was thinking about getting a tattoo to piss off my dad and, maybe you could design it. And then she's like, oh, I could, I was thinking about putting it here. And she's like, starts flashing a titty. And then she's like,
just, a bit of cleave.
Bit of top boob. And then she's like, oh, but also maybe here. She's being about
pulls up her shorts a little bit.
Subtle as a sledgehammer at this point.
Yeah, I know. Well, she just likes him.
I know.
He's
so cute.
He is so good looking, eh? I was
pretty.
like, oh man, you're an adorable. And her boyfriend is a fuckhead.
Yeah.
And also, it's that intrigue of a really interesting person in a boring town.
Well, it's different because obviously Zach doesn't really go to school, so she doesn't really interact with him. So she doesn't really understand, the metal from him. But she's getting this, because as well, you get people that are so close to their music taste or what they're into, they don't want to share it. It's theirs. You're not into it. I'm not going to teach you about it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas this kid, he's sitting there and he's like, oh, well, here's some metal that I could get you into. It's a nice starter. Metal's cool. He's just being... I love him.
Then we got that scene's over. We cut to DEATHGASM in the garage again, in Brody's uncle's garage. They're getting ready to start. You know, they're practicing. They're going to start playing the sheet music from the cursed sheet music that everyone's after. They start playing it. It's like this slow, doomy, like. I can't do it. And they go into like a trance. So they're kind of like free to start playing it automatically. Meanwhile,
the uncle.
Yeah.
He comes out. He's like, it's too loud. You got to turn it off. Stop playing this. He's bashing. He's bashing on the garage door, and he's like, you got to stop playing this satanic music. Turn it off. It's not good. And as this is happening, like, the walls are starting to shake, the lights are starting to flicker, the skies are turning black.
Effects going on.
So we've got this weird thing, and the uncle starts to transform. He starts turning into this demon. His eyes start bleeding. And
the closest we can say to these demons is they're basically Deadites for Evil Dead.
Yes.
They're exactly the same. The transforming of. So later on when we mentioned, I just called them demons later on, but they're basically humans transformed. They're Deadites from Evil Dead.
Pretty much.
They're not demons as in horns and monsters.
It's weirdly, because they're kind of weirdly zombie-like, but they're also demons. So it's like this weird in-between.
Exactly Evil Dead. This whole film is a homage to Evil Dead.
100%.
Like, the pages, if you think about it, if you pull back far enough away from it as well, it's just like a bunch of dudes mistakenly read something, a thing, and cause everyone to get possessed around them, which is exactly Evil Dead.
Exactly.
And then they have to use that same item to push the evil back. And I'm like, that is just Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And it's a homage. It's not trying to copy or be better than it. And it's obviously, because they even say, like, I'll eat your soul and stuff like that later on. And I'm like, it's just Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Did you write down what the demon's called that's coming out? It's something The Blind.
It is the blind one, but it's also called
something The Blind
Anthol or something. I have it written down somewhere in my notes.
Cool. Yeah, because I forgot to write that down. And it does come up pretty later on. I was like, I should have written that down, but I can't remember now. Anyhow, so they're like,
drum kit's bleeding. Uncle's he's in the front
vomiting
yard.
Blood at that point, does he? Or no,
not
he's
quite.
At his eyes. He starts bleeding.
They're out of his eyes, and
he's got full zombie makeup. Like, he's got no what is it called? Like no pupils. He's like
got nothing. Yeah. Drops his cup of tea.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Cup of tea.
And then we cut to Medina. We have a lovely cut to Medina listening to what I assumed was Hilltop Hoods. Just some kind of weird...
She's like walking on the street.
Yeah, she's listening to a Discman. She's in the middle of the streets. It's just lovely. And she kind of realises, I'm not into this.
She's like, those CDs again.
Yeah,
I'll see what they're like.
She swaps it out for Brody's music. And then she is immediately transported to her own metal fucking land where she is on a mountain.
It's basically the same mountain that Brody was on at the start. So instead of Brody playing up on the mountain, it's her playing up on the mountain.
She's up on the mountain, and then there's like two women making out next to her, and she's just really going for it.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
And I'm like, this is great.
And then it cuts back to her in real life. She's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, she really liked it.
Yeah, she got into it. She was loving it.
That's amazing. Then what are we doing here?
So at this point, like Brody's, we cut to math class. Brody's sitting there and he's deciphering the lyrics. So he's trying very hard to like pay attention.
He's got his Latin.
His Latin book. So it's like, okay, demonia is demon. Yep. Oh, I don't know why I needed a book for that one. And then that's it. So then we cut from that to Brody has a run-in with his cousin, and his cousin's basically pissed off. He's like, that's my girl. You're fucking metalhead. I hate you. My dad hates you. I can't wait to fucking kick you out. All this shit. They basically kicked the shit out of him. It's pretty,
David and his goons, they like punch him in the face a bunch of times, and then on the ground just kick the shit out of him.
They rip his earring out. Yeah, they rip his earring out, which is horrible to begin with. That's terrible. So we get that scene. It's quite short, and we cut to Zach siphoning diesel.
Yeah. Medina Rock. What he's siphoning out of a car, like stealing fuel. And Medina rocks out. And goes, "Are you siphoning petrol?" He goes, "No,
it's diesel."
That's a New Zealand joke.
She's like, "Well, I'm looking for Brody. Like, can you help me out?" And he's not interested, and he doesn't like the fact that this girl is like coming along to steal his best mate, but also how come this hot girl isn't into him?
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a dick. And she's like, okay, well, can you leave this with him? Like, can you give this to Brody? She gives him a note. And she's like, please don't read it. She walks off. He immediately opens it and reads it and says, like, meet me in the park at 9 p.m. kind of thing.
So he kind of screws it up or something? Like he does.
Yeah, he basically screws it up and just, like, throws it away. He's not going to do anything. So then we cut to Brody. He's walking back home. He's all fucked up.
He's beaten up.
His eyes just, like, swollen over. His, like, face is mangled. His ears bleeding. You
get the vibe that he's, like, quite, like, nothing. He's feeling really down on life. He's quite depressed.
Yeah.
And that's just a small scene. I think he goes through, maybe he looks at some photos of his mum or something like that.
Yeah, well, because he's in his room's also been trashed. All his posters have been ripped down.
Everything's come in and fucked him over.
Yeah, all the pictures of him and his mum have been ripped up. So he is defeated.
Yeah.
This poor guy.
Then we cut to 9 o'clock at the park. Medina is there waiting in the same spot that they were, like, when they had their ice cream. It's nighttime, and fucking Zach rocks up. And he dogs it. He dogs Brody.
Fucking dickhead.
He basically does the old, like, he said he doesn't want to, like, go out. Yeah. He just don't leave. He told me, he sent me to say, leave me alone. So he's been a fuckhead.
Yeah.
He's been, like, small town, dodgy, like...
But I like you, so I thought I'd come and give you this information myself. Because I'm a good guy.
Lubes her up with some drinks, like some spirits, and then, so she's feeling hurt and vulnerable, and he takes advantage of that, and basically they make out.
I also feel that was too easy.
Yeah, so did I.
It was a little too easy. Yeah,
because she got into so much work with, like, trying to get with,
Yeah.
I
don't know.
It needed to boost. I understood what they were doing. Yeah. But she is interested in just badasses.
Yes, she just likes a metalhead.
Yeah, but, like, she's
and in
going
the
out
dark,
with
they all look the same.
Yeah, she's going out with the jock. Like, and then thinking that he doesn't want to hang out with her. Maybe she was just hurt and just wanted to do. You know what I mean? It could happen. You know what I mean? Like, it actually could.
Yeah.
It wasn't so unbelievable. It just wasn't.
It's what kids do.
Cut to the next day in DEATHGASM. They decided to play this song again.
Yep, they're having a go of it. And same thing basically happens. Everything's flickering, everything's shaking. Except this time, we actually start to get a transformation. So her uncle starts spewing blood. He's just... And we're not talking like a little bit of blood either. We're talking paper cut and a gallon of blood kind of spewing.
It was great.
It's just everywhere. And he's transforming into this demonic creature again. And everyone in the neighborhood, like all of the neighborhood people are out in the street and they're all just vomiting blood into the street. So the streets are running red with blood.
Yeah,
blood of the innocents. This kind of thing.
It was a good scene as well. Like, heaps of, the vomiting looked pretty gross. It was like, I'm spraying out everywhere. I'm like, that would have been a fun scene to make.
Meanwhile, the band, they're like in this hypnotic stance, like, and they're all foaming at the mouth, like vomity and gross in their own, and then they all just fucking pass out.
Yeah.
Cut. And they wake up and Brody starts talking about demons. He's just like, like, what if it was demons?
Yeah, he goes, why would it be demons? He goes, well, I did translate the pages and it said, and he goes, dude, why didn't you tell us that?
Now, it then cut to school and Brody's in the bathroom and he's like checking out his like beat up face.
Yeah, I didn't know who this character was.
I thought it was his cousin, but then it wasn't his cousin.
No.
So this weird kid just comes kind of like rolling in. He's wearing Love Heart Kurt Cobain sunnies and he's talking about something's coming for you.
He's a demon.
Yeah,
basically.
He's a demon.
Like, yeah, but like Brody's just watching his hands at the thing and he's like, okay. He's just, because he doesn't walk in, he slides inside, which is that amazing horror trope.
Funny as shit anyway.
And he's like, we're going to come and eat your intestines and fuck your mother and all this shit. And then he slides out of shot and he slides back and goes, did I mention we're going to do this?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, you did. So, okay,
cool. Slides back out. So yeah, just a bit of comedy.
Yeah, which is great. And then we cut to, once again, we're back in math class. Now the teacher he's definitely a demon.
We can't see him that he's writing up on the board.
He's like he's like,
and everyone's like, okay.
And he's just like, okay. And he's just drawing all these like symbols on the whiteboard. Meanwhile, he's just like,
he does a fart.
He farts. And everyone's like,
the teacher farted.
And then he just continuously farting and then just starts shitting blood. Just shitting blood everywhere. Just he's still writing on his
It is a very metal thing. Like, I mean, Blood Dust had like Blood Fart at like their songs and stuff like that. So
Blood Fart, great name for a band.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I've never seen that in a film.
No.
There's heaps of things I'd never seen in a film that's in this film,
it's just like coming right out of his shorts. It's just everywhere. It's all over the floor. And this young girl who I thought was Medina was not Medina. She's like, oh, Mr. whatever you
Are you okay?
Like, are you okay? And then he turns around and just starts spewing blood all over her.
Just vomits it straight into her face for ages.
Yeah.
So the whole class gets up and, they go to the back of the room.
She's just like,
oh, shit.
She's just copping this blood to the face. And it just goes for so long, but it's not a so long it's not funny anymore thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you could go a little longer.
And then that's just the end scene. And it's them talking about, like, so nothing happened apart from that. So obviously the teacher they all bailed out and the teacher got taken out or whatever.
Yeah. So then it cuts to Zach and Brody. They're in the
They're in like Zach's dad's garage.
Yeah, they're smoking weed. They're having a chat.
They're like, well, that was fucked. Yeah, Brody's relaying to Zach. They don't go to school. Like, yeah, and then he fucking spewed all over everyone. It was weird.
He's like, oh, that does sound weird.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. He's like. Meanwhile, we're hearing this off sound in the background, like this knocking sound, and it's Zach's dad. He's at the garage door and he's just headbutting.
Like inside the garage, so with him.
Yeah, so he's just like, he's headbutting the door. It's like so strange. And he comes out and he's like, Dad, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, let's get this t-shirt off your face, because he's wrapped the shirt around to cover his eyes, that kind of thing. And he turns around, takes off the shirt, and then we get this like cut to, and he's got his eyes in his hands.
Yeah.
Zach's dad, he's got his eyes in his hands, and he's like, I can't see you. That kind of thing. And
it's basically the Pan's Labyrinth, like.
He does, yeah. Very, very similar to that. And we get this
and he's a deadite as well. Like, he's all like fucked up.
Yeah. So now we get this very, very Evil Dead scene where they're trying to subdue him. So, he's got Zach around the throat. Meanwhile, like, Brody's got a fucking grinder.
Yeah, he gets an angle grinder.
Machine.
That was great that day, because he gets the angle grinder and, like, hits him in the arm with it, and all the fucking blood starts pissing out. Because they're just doing that thing where they've just rigged up, like, exactly what they did in Brain Dead.
Yes.
Where they just rig up, like, as they did in Brain Dead with the lawnmower, they just rig it up so, like, the machine just gushes blood out. So when you put it on something, it just looks like it's just like, yeah, and it looks amazing.
So he's like got his arm because he's blocking, and then at some point he's like grinding his face out. It looks fucking great.
Yeah, it's funny as well.
So they end up subduing him. They get him on the ground, and then Zach like unravels a motor, which immediately
there's an engine block on a block and tackle. Yeah,
immediately drops and just splatters
his dad's head.
He's like, yeah.
He has a good line there as well, and he goes, should we call an ambulance? And he goes, he's got a fucking engine on his head. I don't think an ambulance will do anything.
No. So then Brody reveals, and he's like, look, I summoned the demons, like I read the pages, like, we need to go see Abigail. So Abigail is the woman from the record shop. She's the wife of the record store owner.
Psychic. He reckons she might know what's going on.
Yeah, so like we've got to go talk to her because she's going to know what's up. Cut to Dion and Giles. They've now rocked up at Brody's house. This is fucking stupid, mind you, because they are just typical nerd boys.
Well, now we also kind of forgot to mention the whole town's broken out into being demons. There's like a small facet of people that aren't demons now.
Yeah.
So with that, so slowly over that day after they played the song, most of the people in the town.
Yeah, we've got hordes of demons attacking people, very zombie-like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so Giles and Dion are out and about, like, kind of like...
What do we do?
They're out in the streets. It's nighttime now. Mm-hmm. And, they're like... And they've got, like... One of them's got...
So one of them has those giant Incredible Hulk fists that you bought back in the day, and you'd, like, punch things.
I thought that was funny.
Her Hulk smash kind of thing.
Which is, Dion's got that, the full D&D guy.
Yep. And then Giles has got a paint...
He's got an air rifle, paintball gun.
Yeah, paintball gun. Which they end up, so obviously a demon comes to behind them, and they're like, oh fuck, what do we do? He's shooting paintballs at him, it's not working. What does he do? fucking dice. You brought your dice.
Loads it up with 20-sided dice.
You brought your dice purse, mate. He loads it up and he starts shooting them. You get them stuck in his head. And
does nothing.
Does nothing.
These weapons are shit. It's like they are.
And they're in this like weird sensation of, oh, we're about to fucking die. Next minute.
Yeah, the Deadite jumps kind of at them.
Looks so good. Jumps at them and then is immediately split down the head. So Medina's come and axed the fucking cunt in the back of the head.
Yeah, you basically split the demon's head open.
Yep.
And this is why I like this film, because like you're still getting that human gore, but they're Deadites thing, and that really works for me, because I don't like gore against monsters as much as I like it onto humans.
Yeah, okay.
So I like seeing like the humans, like face getting split. Yeah, so she axes him from behind.
And it looks amazing.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
And so she's there like, okay, well I'm gonna go. I was coming here to see if Brody was home. Like, well, maybe we'll go to the school. He's like, my dad said to go to the school. He's like, yeah, but your dad's also dead. So they're like, let's leave a note.
Yeah, that Dion goes like, my dad, he's a fireman, and he said to go to the school for safety. Well, he did before he like ripped my mum's skin off and killed her. And then Joel's like, dude, he's still going on about that? That was hours ago.
Classic. They leave a note on the door at Brody's house, and they're
basically saying we've all got like Giles, we've gone to the school.
Gone to the school. See you there.
Then it cuts to Zach and Brody. They get to the record store.
Yep.
And they come in, and Abigail is there, but she's already been pre-attacked by some demons, and she's like wounded on the ground, holding it. You know, she's about to die, kind of thing. They tell her that they played the song. She's like, "You fucking idiots! You've doomed us all.
You've doomed us all." But there's a way.
But there is a way that you can. And then before she gets to tell him, suddenly a hand bursts through her chest from behind.
Yep.
And she falls down dead, and reveals it's like a zombie, a Deadite version of the record store owner.
Yep. He's now chowing down on her heart.
Yeah. He kind of smashes her heart out from behind.
Yeah, which looks amazing as well. Like everything in this film.
Every bit of gore in this is perfect, and that's what makes it. Like this is like one of those films. Like, it would have been an okay film, but a lot of films would like not show as much gore. But that's where this film we're like, no, we have to show the gore. That will make people like it even more, and they realize that because they want to see that.
That's right. So then we get to this scene. So now the big boss man from earlier on in the film, he's now rocked up. Yeah, he's rocked up with a cloaked woman, and they've come
on the rest of his
like
the whole cult
and all his cult cronies.
And they start talking to a demon.
Yeah, so it's the demon with the love heart glasses, which is not the cousin. And they sort of state that so it's Aloth. So Aloth is coming.
Aloth the blind.
Yes.
And that's what we forget to mention that all the demons pull their own eyes out.
Yes.
So if you turn into one, you pull your eyes out because he's Aloth the blind. I guess it's to homage him or some shit. Anyhow.
So then they say, like, you, in order to be a vessel for Aloth, you need to be the most black-hearted person in the room at the time. And the guy's like, well, that's going to be me. I'm going to be that guy. And is immediately stabbed by the cloaked woman.
In the back.
It's not only stabbed, she fucking stabs him down the throat.
Yeah.
It's a throat stab.
Yeah, like it's like through the back of his head, isn't it? It's also...
Yeah, I think she stabs him in the back, and then it's like right down the throat.
Yeah, she stabs him down when he goes to his knees. So we're introduced to a new character, the cloaked woman, who is now the leader of the cult, because she is so badass. Mm-hmm. She wants the power.
She does.
I like I really like that demon with the glasses. I thought it was a funny character.
Yeah.
Because that scene is a conversation with them, like a Deadite conversation, which you never get.
No, because he's sitting there saying,
they're on the same side.
We can't do this. We can't touch the pages. We don't have control over this. It needs to be one of you. So he's basically saying, we know what's up, but we can't do anything. You got to do it for us.
Yeah. It basically says exposition. Like, the demons can't touch the pages, but they need them destroyed because within the pages is the way to send them back.
Yeah.
Which is the old Evil Dead Necronomicon vibe, which is pages as well, now I think about it. And there is a bit where they collect pages in Evil Dead too.
There is, yes.
Anyhow, we're fine with that.
Yep, that's fine.
And then we cut back to Giles. No.
We cut back to Brody and Zach.
Yep.
Zach doesn't really give a shit. He's just like, let's just piss off. Let's go somewhere else. I don't want to deal with this, And Brody's like, no, mate, we're doing this. We're doing this. They rock back up to the house. We get this really nice scene of them touching this corpse, trying to cup it back together.
Yeah, that was funny. He's like, whoa. Like, that isn't the one that Medina had split with the axe. He's like,
yeah.
I don't know why he was doing it, but.
And then we get into the house and immediately, like, Zach walks off in one direction and Brody is immediately hit by the demon uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's just like, he's being choked up against the wall. He's like, fucking, like, help, what do I do? He's trying to fight him off. Zach comes in.
He's drinking a beer.
And he's like, oh, shit.
And instead
Next, the beer.
Yeah, but like, he's drinking a beer. He doesn't know. He sees, oh my God, like, there's a demon in here. And then drinks the beer again before helping, which is in one of my horror movies that I made when I was a teenager. We did that exact joke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like.
Well, he finishes the beer off and then bottles him in the head.
Bottles like the uncle. It doesn't hurt him because he's like fucking demon.
So now we're in a room. It's like Zach and Brody and demon uncle and demon aunt. Demon aunt rocks up as well. And they're like, fuck, shit. So they run into their bedroom. So the aunt and uncle's bedroom.
Oh, first we forgot to mention is that when Zach when they rock up to this house, while Brody is looking at the split head, Zach sees the note on the door from the other guys and grabs it and screws it up. So he's just a pure fuckhead. Like, he's just all about, nah. You know what I mean? Like, so he doesn't want Brody, because it says Medina's with him. He doesn't want Brody meeting up with Medina to, like, know what he's done, and also just he doesn't want her to hang out with him.
Yeah. So
then because I wrote, what a fuckhead in my note.
Yeah, he's a bit of a fuckhead.
And they get attacked by the uncle and auntie.
They go into the bedroom. They barricade themselves in their bedroom. They're like, we need to armor up.
Yeah, we need to find some weapons. Does your uncle have a gun? He goes, no, but he might have some crosses in a...
Like, here's this box of church stuff.
Yeah, it says church stuff on it. They open it up and it says full of fucking butt plugs and dildos.
Anal beads, dildos, and then, so, if you
There's like a giant double-ended black dong.
Yep.
And then they're like...
So now if we put two and two together...
Then we get this They burst. It shows them bursting out the bedroom in slow motion to metal music, and just beating these two, his auntie and uncle, up with fucking big dongs and anal beads, like full on, like Saints Row style, like hitting the big dongs into their faces. And I'm like, oh my God, this seems amazing. Like, it's so stupid.
It's like, as an actor, what was the greatest achievement? Well, I once got hit in the face with a black dildo. That was great. Highlight of my career.
I like that. And then it cuts out of slow-mo and the music, and they're like, dude, this isn't working.
Yeah, this isn't working. It's not doing anything. I think at this point he's, like, got two little vibrators in holsters that he's, like, thrown at his aunt. And nothing happens.
Yeah, they realize this is stupid.
They're like, so then they head off to the...
No, Brody then runs into the shed.
Yeah.
But then, they kind of, like, he goes, oh, you hold him off. I'm going to go get a weapon. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
So we got Zach just fighting them both with things, and then Brody runs in, finds a chainsaw, and I'm like,
yes! He's like, yeah, finally.
There was a good amount of chainsawing in this.
As soon as he picked up the chain, because they were alluding to the chainsaw quite early on in the film.
Yeah, they did a shot.
As soon as he picks it up,
they did that in Evil Dead as well.
Yes, they did.
They did the shot.
I'm like, Dan's going to be very excited right now.
Oh, man. I was loving the chainsaw. And they don't fuck it up either. You know, so many films, they have a chainsaw in it, and they use it for, like, one shot or whatever. But in this, they fucking just...
Yes, this is fantastic. So Brody, like, kicks down the door, and he's got that heroic face, and then immediately fucking trips on the car.
Just falls over. And at that point, somehow, like, from him falling over, like, Zach gets knocked into another room with the uncle.
Yep.
And the door closes, and then the auntie stays in the room with him. So they've been separated.
Yep.
They're in separate rooms. And then the auntie... and then we get Zach. It cuts to Zach.
Yep.
And he's got nothing but a fucking dildo. No, a vibrator.
So he's been, like... held against the wall. So, you know, he's chokehold against the wall, and he's trying to reach for this fucking dildo that's, like, stuck on the table. And he's trying to go for it. So you just see him clawing at this fucking
And you see him just touch the dildo a bit, like, and it wobbles.
And it's just like... Dunk, 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 dunk.
And then he finally grabs it.
Yep.
And he fucking... Basically, I've written in here, he, like, dildo punches the dude in the face. He's holding the dildo, but punching with the...
Yeah,
so hard.
He's punching
that it eventually just punches off the Uncle Zombie's whole jaw.
Yeah, it looks so good.
At this point, though, I was getting a little bit disappointed. I started using a little bit of CG blood. Did you notice?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, they might have just been running low on blood or something like that.
Running low on budget, maybe. So yeah, he dildos the uncle's jaw off. Meanwhile, Brody's in the other room with his aunt, and
she's like straddling
she's got him
on the ground.
His face is about to go into that chainsaw. And then...
Yeah, she's like holding him down. The chainsaw's still on the ground, like spinning. And he's like trying to pull up away from it, but she's trying to push his face onto the chainsaw.
Yeah. Now, is it Zach that comes out and he pushes her? And then who gets the chainsaw? Because basically the aunt gets chainsawed.
First the aunt gets disemboweled.
Yeah, so she gets
from behind by Zach.
Was it from behind? I can't remember.
Neither can I.
I'm like, Brody chainsaws his aunt, and then she stands there, and basically all of her intestines fall out.
Yeah, I think he just gets her off.
Yeah.
And then grabs the chainsaw. He's on the ground, she's standing up, and he just chainsaws it into her stomach.
Yep.
Pulls it back, all her gizzards fall out onto the ground, which is cool.
Yes, it's cool.
And then she jumps onto him again.
Yeah.
And knocks the chainsaw out of his hand. And then he's like, kind of like, you know, fighting with her on the ground, and he reaches over and he grabs, like, from each side there's two dildos, and he grabs two dildos and slams them in both sides of her head into each of her temples, like these dildos.
Yep.
And just kills her. And then one of them's like a vibrator that's spinning.
It's like the rabbit, but so it's just like...
So that was a whole scene where they kill zombies with sex toys, which is like... Never been done.
I've never seen that in
You might get one little joke like that, but this was a whole scene devoted to sex toys and chainsaws, which was great.
So then, in walks...
but Zach comes in and they're like, fuck. They sit down, they're covered in blood, they're...
taking
their breather.
Just doing it.
Front door opens.
And the cousin walks in. So he's not the fucking demon zombie that we keep seeing. It's someone else. So he walks in.
He's not a zombie at all. He just walks in and goes, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, Brody just gets up, chainsaws his head, fucking cuts his head off.
He doesn't cut his head off. He cuts him mouth.
From the mouth up, yeah.
From the mouth up. So basically, another brain dead style, like, killing. Chainsaws him, like, just murders him. He's such a fucker. Sits down. The look on his face after that he is like pure zen.
Yep.
He's like,
yeah, he's feeling good. He's like, I don't think he was possessed.
Yeah, that goes, dude, I'm pretty sure he wasn't a demon. He goes, what?
So,
no,
he came in. He came in saying something about Satan and stuff. Yeah, he was...
He's definitely a demon.
He was
It was such a good moment in a film, mate. Like, just murders the brother. Like, oh, man. And the look of just content he has.
Was
like,
happy.
He just solved all of his worry and concern. But, yeah. Such a good scene. Then all of a sudden the window just demonically comes open. All the pages are sitting there and they all blow out into the night.
Yep.
And then we hear a demon laugh as in they made the win. I don't know how. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
It was fine.
And then they're like, fuck, we have to go get the pages.
So let's metal suit up.
Yeah. And then we get a montage.
Brutal fucking montage.
We need better weapons. And they go into the... Yeah, we get a montage in the shed of them making Evil Dead style with the zoom shots and all that. And they basically... so at the end, it's got a hero shot of them. They metal up their armor more. They put nails into all their metal stuff. And they make a whippersnipper that has barbed wire on it. They have a chainsaw as well, obviously. Zach has the chainsaw. They sticky tape a drill to the end of one of their guitars.
Yeah, interesting choice.
Didn't matter. Yeah,
that's fine. Nope.
And a couple of other little things. They get some circular saws on their belts, and they've got some weapons.
Yeah. So now they're hunting down the pages.
You're hunting down the pages, which is another. Now we get another montage, basically. It's a great montage
I love
as
a
well.
montage. It's fine.
It really just cuts out any story because we know what they're going to do. They're going to
Yeah.
go out and find the pages. So it's basically finding the pages interluded in between with some killing
Yes.
to music,
Which is great. I'm okay with it.
We get some they throw some circular saws that go into some zombie's head. Find a page. They come across this gigantic fat man who is a zombie, and he just has no pants on, full dick hanging out. And then I'm like, there's Jen's dick.
Dicks in the wind.
Dick Watch 2021, first
Yes,
dick of the year.
First dick of the year.
Nice.
That's glorious.
And then we get a shot of Brody with the whippersnipper where they've replaced the snippy bit with barbed wire. And him slowly, basically, just whippersnippering this dick off. Mm-hmm. Never been in a film. There's no shot like that ever been in a film before.
No, but then we do get the little homage to Street Trash because the dick goes flying.
We see the dick just flying through the air in slow motion.
Dick.
It was very Street Trash, and I reckon that was an actual homage to Street Trash.
I would say so, yeah.
And then we get a couple more, just deaths and stuff like that, finding the pages. So they've got the pages now.
Yep.
I liked how fast this happened. I thought this was going to be the whole end of the film was finding the pages, but nah. Just an excuse to show gore.
Which is what I like. I don't need... Because if we know what's going to happen, we really don't need it to drag on for 10 or 15 minutes.
It's a horror comedy.
Exactly.
It was funny.
Let's get shit done. Let's move on.
Anyhow, the search brings them to the school.
Yep.
Coincidentally, at the same time that, Giles, Dion, and Medina are at the school because I said to meet up there. Not unbeknownst to Brody, but beknownst to Zach. They're there. This is the point where I noticed that Giles was wearing a Bad Taste t-shirt.
Yes.
And Brody, so then they're all reunited now. They're, hey, how you going?
Yeah, because Medina almost takes Brody's head off at some point. Like, they walk in and she goes swinging at them thinking that they're demonic. And they're like, oh, sorry about that. Almost took you off.
Brody. Yeah, she's all cute and adorable when she finds out it's him.
Yep.
And she's all badass. Oh, hello.
Yep. We also forgot to mention that when she rocked up at the house with Dion and Giles, she was wearing Zach's jacket.
Oh.
So she does have Zach's jacket still.
And then we get a scene here where they're they've barricaded themselves kind of in a classroom, but then Medina and Brody are chatting, and he notices over at her bag and sees that Zach's jacket is in the bag.
Yeah.
Basically, and does she just admit kind of what's going on here? He goes, "Oh, why have you got Zach's jacket?"
Yeah, she's
goes,
like,
you didn't want to you."
I left you a note.
Yeah, she goes, after I gave you my note, you said you didn't want it, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't get a note," and I did.
We get this very high school drama moment of I liked you, I left a note, I never got a note. What are you talking about? But
it's good though because it's sorted out very quickly. They work out straight away that Zach has just fucked them both over basically.
Yes.
Hard, and then so then fucking Brody just cuts sick at Zach you fuckhead, we're supposed to be fucking mates. They have a brawl.
Yep.
Zach kicks his ass.
Yeah,
Zach kicks Brody's ass because he's a bigger, harder fighter, and he he basically bails from the group. He's like, fuck you guys. Yeah. He takes 2 chainsaws.
Yeah. Well, that's what you do.
And he bails from the group. He's bitter. He's hurt. You can tell he's hurt. I didn't mind. He was a good, complicated character, I thought. Because you hate him and then you like him, and you hate him and then you like him, and he's just like so many people you've met in your life.
Yes, most definitely.
You have those people in your group of friends when you're growing up that they're fuckheads, but they're always in the group. Mm-hmm. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you get older, you just filter out the fuckheads.
Yeah.
So then Zach bails, and that's kind of the end scene. It cuts back to Brody and that, and they work out. I don't know how they work this out. I can't remember. He works out. They're like, maybe if we play the song backwards, it'll make all the evil go back.
Mm-hmm. That sound logic. I like it.
But our gear's fucking destroyed, or whatever. We can't get our gear. He goes, I know where there's a whole bunch of gear, of course. In what was that guy's name?
Ricky Daggers.
Ricky Daggers' abandoned house, because they alluded to all the amps on the wall and before. So they were like, cool, we have to go there. So this is basically the end scene. Is all set now. This is this is the third half.
Yep.
What happens next?
So they've snuck into the house, they're setting up the amps, and as they are doing that, they run into the cloaked woman and all of her occultist goons. They are basically tied up left in the room.
Yeah, they get ambushed basically by the cult woman.
And straight away. And, Dion's sitting there and he's like, do you reckon if we soil ourselves, they'll let us go? And just immediately starts shitting his pants.
The first is an amazing line. They get caught by the cultists, and she comes out and she's all sexy. And she's got a knife, and then I think Giles says, "I can't tell if I got a fear boner or a boner." And I was like, "A fear boner?
What is a fear boner?
Or just a boner?" Amazing.
So they're still tied up, and then they have obviously.
No, so the occult lady gets the pages off of them and rips them to bits.
Yes. Oh,
like,
boy, does she.
And then it goes to them all tied up in another room. So they just tie them up and leave them in a room. They could have just killed them. It's fine.
No, it's fine. So they start their occultist ceremony.
A ritual.
Their ritual, thank you.
To bring forth the... It's the ritual for her to receive... To become the vessel.
Yes.
To receive the power of that... Was it
Athol.
Athol, the blind. Mm-hmm. And she's been promised power, and beyond a wild.
She's gonna be the most powerful lady, and then she's just like, titties out.
Yeah, she gets all fucking stark
she's
naked
ready to
for it.
do
And
it.
I was like, I usually don't like ridiculous negatives, but that was like, I'm fine.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Well, what is a little bit of?
They are always naked. They're Satanists.
That is exactly right. Rituals best done when naked.
You can't. You don't know what's going to happen when you get the power. What if you turn into a giant monster and then you rip your good clothes?
Don't want to do that.
You're going to take them off.
That looks like your good cloak too. You don't want to rip that.
Anyhow, then we cut back to the gang. Mm-hmm. So this is all happening.
Yep.
We cut back to the gang on the ground and they're like, fuck, we're still caught. And suddenly in the corner of the room there's a coffin, I think it was.
It was just like, it's not a coffin. It's just like, how you'd have like seating along the edge of a wall, but if you lift the lid, it's actually like where you can store stuff.
There's a box.
Yeah, it's a box.
There's a box.
Yeah.
It bursts open and Mr. Daggers, what's his first name?
Ricky Daggers.
Ricky Daggers bursts
now
out.
looking even more like Iggy Pop.
Yeah, with no eyes, he's turned into a dead eye, a demon, a cult.
His neck hole's kind of flopping in the wind.
He looks good.
He is looking good.
He attacks the gang.
Yeah.
And as because they're all tied up.
Yeah.
He's about to attack the gang. They're fucked. And then all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, bursts through the door. Zach's back.
Yep.
He's got his corpse paint on.
He does.
He basically, instead of he bailed, had to think.
Yeah.
Went, they're my friends.
Yeah.
And then came back. He's got. What has he got? He's got 2 chainsaws. No, this
does.
is the point where he first has 2 chainsaws. He's got
Yeah.
a chainsaw in each hand. And this is Zach's shining moment. This is his Evangelion Oscar moment.
Fucking hell.
Um,
Hard roll of my eyes.
he just because he just kills.
It's glorious though. He just goes on this rampage, and he's like fucking. He gets Ricky Daggers, and at one point he goes outside.
No, he kills Ricky Daggers, and then I think all the gang kind of get out of being tied up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a Deadite grabs Zach from outside through a window and pulls him out the window. And then a whole bunch of other demons pour into the fucking into the house. So now Zach is outside. Everyone else is inside.
Yep.
We
We get this delightful kind of ballet-esque sort of dealio from him. So he's got his 2 little chainsaws, and there's a horde of demons outside, and he goes slow-mo running. He does jumps onto a tire.
Yeah, he bounces off a tire and does this
just twirling
spinning T-pose.
Twirling with his chainsaws.
In the
It's
air,
glorious.
all in slow motion.
All in slow-mo, and kind of lands.
Lands with crossed chainsaws like an X. In a knee pose, not looking at all the zombies. They're still standing and they just all fall apart.
And start spurting blood because it's and then their heads
it's
just fall
it's basically
off.
the samurai shot, where the samurai goes through and then freezes.
You're like, he didn't get no one. Oh, he got everyone.
So good.
I love that.
So ridiculous. Then Brody... So then we go... Zach... Oh, first he bursts in and kills all the cult members.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that.
Yes, he does.
It's amazing because there's a compound fracture.
I did notice that.
Yeah. So basically, he comes in and chainsaws up some cult members, and then he smashes one on the ground and compound fractures their leg. And compound fracture.
2021.
2021, first compound fracture, and then And that gives the opportunity for... what happens to the occultist lady? I can't remember.
Well, she's kind of just sitting...
Cowering in the corner.
She's cowering in the corner. Like, you are not a vessel of great power. You are a little bitch.
Yeah, but she's sort of cowered and hidden from them. Brody and Giles and Medina run in and they start setting up the guitar with all the amps and stuff like that. And that's when Zach gets pulled out the window and then he goes and does that scene.
Yeah. So there's sort of like Brody starts playing. So he's trying to play.
No, he's tuning up. For ages, like a full-on actual muso, right at the point when they could just play. But he's like, no, I got to get it right.
Well, yeah, because he started playing. He's like, I don't even think I got in the right tune here.
In the right key.
So he's tuning it up.
So the room's filling up with zombies, demons at one side. They're slowly walking towards him while he's trying to like tune the guitar and shit. Yep. And Dina's there defending him with an axe. Like she starts chopping people up.
Yep.
And at that point, Dion gets separated from the group.
Yes.
We don't really know how, but Dion's just in another part of the house. He's got a broadsword.
Typical Dion.
A demon basically bursts out. He goes to hit him with the broadsword and just slips straight out of his hand. And the demon grabs Dion and basically Sub-Zero fatalities him. Pulls his head off with his spinal cord. It's the exact Sub-Zero fatality.
Oh, I love it.
And that looked good as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Dion.
Yeah.
And then I realised that Dion and Giles are just kill fodder at this point.
Yes, they are.
And then we cut back to the group and then we get Giles, basically, demons grab Giles and rip his arm off, which looked good as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is all happening whilst he's still trying to tune up his guitar and Medina's
it's like time is of an essence.
And then both the demons beat Giles on the ground with his own arm to death, I think.
Yep.
And then, a demon comes up to Brody as he's tuning and this is a chance for him to use his drill.
Fucking drills him in the face.
Yeah,
is it in the face or in the chest?
I think he drills one in the chest and then later on he drills another one in the face.
Yep.
So he's used his guitar drill, which is attached to the end of the guitar. And then that's when we cut to Zach. We forgot to mention that Zach, when he does that running, jumps. He first runs when he's running. He's Naruto running with his arms behind him with the chainsaw.
It's true, he is, isn't he?
He's Naruto running. So then we cut back. Yeah, Medina's still cutting up zombies with the axe, still defending him.
Zach comes inside at this point.
Yeah, and he finishes up the leftovers.
Does the rest with his things.
It's really weird. We're just glazing over violence here. All these finishing off. They're all deaths that are good.
So beautiful.
Yeah. So everyone should watch this film. Even if you've with us, there's so many lines in it we haven't said. There's so many gore bits we've just because there's so much of it. It's like brain dead. You can't do it all.
Yep, it's true. I cannot recommend this enough.
But then it ends the last demon, Zach, basically, there's one demon left. Zach cuts both his arms off with the chainsaw, cuts both his legs off with that cuts his head off with the chainsaw, then cuts him at the waist off the torso. So he's just a pair of legs standing there, and it just shows him all the blood coming out. Great. He's like, cool. Yeah. He's covered in blood. He's got his corpse maker. He's basically, this is the moment Zach was born for.
Yes. And I did like at one point, Medina kind of calls him out and he's like, so you went off and had a think and you decided to apply your makeup. And he's like, it's corpse paint and it took 15 minutes.
Yeah. Instead of coming here, you went and put makeup on?
Yeah.
Corpse paint. Yeah. This is the war or whatever. Yeah.
It's great. At this point, it's now 3 a.m.
Because we forgot to mention that 3 a.m. is the crucial time.
Yes.
And we also forgot to mention the first time the cultists have the meeting with that demon is they say that, go kill Brody. He is the key.
Yeah.
So, which actually doesn't really surface itself again. It's good. But Brody has... the reason Brody we forgot to mention, is tuning his guitar is because he has memorized the song backwards.
Yep.
Because he is so good at guitar now.
Yeah, he is. So he's trying to play it backwards. It doesn't work. And then she's like, fuck. So the booby occultist lady, she comes out and she basically does the spiel of, you've run out of time. Now is my time.
3 a.m.
I'm going to have all this power, the greatest power, because I am the most dark person in this room. Meanwhile, Zach...
And then lightning starts to come down and she starts to get the power.
Meanwhile, I think Zach kind of hears this conversation of ultimate power.
No.
Doesn't
he just, what
I
happens...
just assumed he was there listening going, I want to be that guy.
No, basically, she gets this ultimate... she bangs on, starts to get the power fed into her through lightning through the fucking roof. And it's actually a big butthole opens up in the sky, in the clouds, and shoots lightning down, a beam of light down.
Yes.
And then she starts to receive the power, and he just grabs a sword and just rams it through the back of her.
Yep.
I don't think he was planning to get the power, but then the power just transfers straight to him because he's the darkest, blackest, evil person in the room at that time. So then Zack gets all the power of, what's his name?
Aloth,
the blind.
Yes.
And he turns around and he's got a giant, and I can only describe it as a big fucking... Do you remember that movie Legend?
Yes.
Yeah, a big legend head. He's got a full demon mask on. It's got big fucking horns. It's got no eyes.
Looks great.
It looked good,
Looks great. It's a tier up from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
One tier. I actually think this was the film's weakest part.
Yeah.
Because it's that whole big thing again of the once the evil's here, it's just a lumbering fool. Like, the demons were more threatening.
I think because now this lumbering demon is in a person. I think that could be.
But you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's never as good. It's never as good.
Yeah, so he turns into the big legend-looking dude. Zack starts, like, beating up Brody with phase shifting. Mm-hmm. So, it's, and if you don't know what phase shifting is, basically you can just appear behind someone.
Yep.
And, instead of, like, killing Brody, he just starts beating him up. But he's kind of saying, like, he's a little bit of Zack still in him.
Yeah.
But he's kind of saying, like, cool, this is metal as fuck.
Yeah. Like, this is brutal.
This is brutal.
Brody then starts shredding on the guitar.
Yeah, basically, like, Medina gets knocked over, and then, like, Demon Zack kind of, all his attention is on her. He's got her up on the wall. He's going to kill her. Brody, like, starts shredding. What he shreds, I didn't understand this first. He shreds their song that they made up first. So it's like the true DEATHGASM song. Yeah. Which touches the heart of Zack. Yeah. So basically, it gives Zack... because Zack is still inside of this demon, you know what I mean? It kind of, he finds, like, you're in there somewhere, like, fight it. And basically him playing their song that they made up together gives... Zack is able to push down the evil and regain control momentarily. Yeah. So he turns back and he
because he says, he's like...
He falls down to the ground, metal. Brody's holding him, and he's like... Dude, you got to kill me.
Metal saved me, but you got to kill me.
Yeah, and Brody has, like, they have it earlier on in the thing. They got, because they're blood brothers, they both get, they cut their hand, when they become blood brothers, they cut it with a razor blade, and then they wear the razor blade on a necklace. So, so he gets the razor blade off his necklace and cuts Zack's throat, which sends him and the demon back to hell. Mate, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's the most lacklustering, easy thing you could have done in the world. But then again, it wouldn't have worked if he hadn't pushed the evil down. I just thought it was a bit, once again, it's slow lumbering monster, too easy to kill.
Yeah, well, because where else can you go with it? Once you hit that monster, that final boss, you're either going to be there for hours trying to kill it, or you're going to die, or you got to make it really easy.
Well, they would have. I thought they might have done the Evil Dead thing, where, like, he's wounded but slowly just plays the last note, and then the last note opens a portal. Anyhow, the butthole, like, it's actually the butthole in this guy.
It
clenches up and goes away. Was it Zack disappears or whatever? But there was no, I thought my hole might have opened up and pulled down to hell, and there's nothing. Yeah. It basically just dies. The light goes away. Cut to the next day.
Yeah, 2 months later.
2 months later.
2 months later.
And we have Medina and Brody now live together.
She's a hot metal chick.
She's all like, fucking yeah. They start, like, doing metal talk. Like, and she's like, I'm a fast learner.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, you schooled me. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm going to fucking this.
Yeah, so she's turned into, like, the ultimate babe, which is a bit weird that she has to turn into the ultimate babe for Brody. And she obviously wasn't happy as the perfect girl. Medina's all metal. Fuck. She goes to work, and then we get
wind and flickering and
like
shaking.
Yeah, there's like a record. It's like a metal record playing, and we hear like, oh fuck, the metal's back, and this demon voice is like, we'll get you. Yeah, and and it has that Evil Dead moment with the wind and the flashing lights and shit, and then like you hear Zack's voice is like, oh man, just fucking with you. So Zack is now in hell. In hell.
Somehow on the record.
On the record. And did you watch the end scene after the credits?
No.
there's a heaps good end scene.
Fuck.
So, and that's just it. And that's just the end.
Yeah.
Like, so we're just like, but then after I left it on, and then there's another scene of like, Brody is talking to the record.
Yep.
Which is Zach, and he goes, "Oh, what's hell like?" It's pretty good here, man. There's all these cool people. There's like, there's like Hitler, and he met like Dio's here,
yeah,
and Phil Collins, and it's just all these like jokes. And then they're like, he goes like, you should start up DEATHGASM again. He goes, you can't. He goes, oh, all the band's dead. He goes, you should start up a new band. He goes, oh, I have to call it a new name. And then they're like, oh, yeah. And then they go into that trance of, like, just trying to work out what the name... And they start just going through names. And it just slowly fades out and just pans out of them just going through the names of all the...
I made the mistake of
so his friend lives... He can basically communicate with him through death metal records.
That's great.
From hell.
I love it.
End.
Comes
up with, like, metal music and all stuff like that. Yeah. But cool. Anyway, final thoughts.
Fucking I love this film.
Yeah, so did I.
And I forget how much, because I've seen this film before, and...
This is the third time I've watched it.
I think this is probably my second viewing of it, but I remembered how much I liked it from when I first saw it. There's some great homages to Evil Dead and Dead Alive. This film is insanely funny. It has a fucking great soundtrack.
Yeah, if you like metal, it does.
Yep. I really...
It's just let down with that last fight. But it's fine. It's only a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And you're watching a horror comedy for the comedy mostly and the gore. And you get that the whole way through. I didn't like the CG blood. They really used it a lot at the end. I think it's just because they might have had budget constraints.
I think so, yeah, probably.
It had awesome dick humour.
Yep.
Like, I love dick humour. Can't go wrong.
This is your favourite kind of humour.
And the Evil Dead, homage is great. Brain Dead, all that stuff. Callbacks to the whole, horror comedy thing. And all the cool transition animations of like the editing and drawings over stuff. I thought that was really, really good as well. Do you have any other more thoughts?
That's all my thoughts. I just everything about this film was it just worked really well for me. And I think as well is because this is not an American film, and it just shits on a bunch of American comedy films that try and do this but fail.
Yeah, it has that thing where New Zealanders know that they're New Zealand, and they know that their accent is adorable and funny, and they often just deliver lines just for the pure sake of it.
Well, I think as well, this kind of humour does not work in America.
No, if this had been in America, I found it would have been
It would have been...
okay?
Super bad. Is that the one with Jonah Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad. That's okay. Yeah. Anyway, I gave it a B and an F.
Yep.
A beer and chicken wing group movie and a fun and dumb.
Yes, I also gave it a B and an F, so beer and chicken wing, fun and dumb, but I also gave it a D. I gave it a Dan special just purely based on the sheer amount of dicks throughout this film.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I'll take that D and put it into my put on my resume.
Yeah. So I gave him the Ds.
All right, what is our... So, yeah, great film. Funny, everything. Everyone should give it a go, I reckon. And that New Zealand horror films are just the best.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait till we do some more. There's a few more.
I never want to do Meet the Feebles.
No, that's okay.
It's not.
There's still Black Sheep. There's Black Sheep. That's good.
Black Sheep's good fun. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Going deep on New Zealand horror. It's great.
Yeah, good. And what are we going to watch next week?
Well,
what
Dan,
is our future?
Your choice.
Didn't I do this one?
No, I did this one.
Oh, that's cool. All right, we're going to do Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yeah, nice.
When was the last time you watched that, little Billy?
Like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, fuck. Did you want me to change it?
No.
You're cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
So everyone out there, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Is it the second? Is it the last one, or was Jason versus Freddy after it?
Freddy versus Jason was after this. Yeah, I think this is the last.
The penultimate. It's the penultimate nightmare.
Yep.
So Wes Craven's New Nightmare is next week's thing. Have a watch of it if you want. If not, just let us explain what happens in it.
Yeah.
This is one of my favourite ones. I don't know. Oh, in my mind, this is one of my most favourite Nightmare on Elm strips. I don't know if it's going to hold up.
Oh, when was the last time you watched it?
Oh, when it was new.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look forward to ruining it for everyone and you.
Mm.
Great. So, For those of you who have been listening, we are TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all streaming services, including SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere good podcasts can be found. We are also available on the YouTubes. But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a review, and share with all of your friends. We also have an Instagram at TerrorVisionPod, which keeps you up to date with upcoming episodes, trivia, and of course memes that are probably 3 years old by now. We also have an email, terrorvisionpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to watch, what you want to discuss with us. If you hate us, if you love us, anything you want really, just send it over through. Our opening and closing music is Void Swell by Sister Wife and Dan.
Yeah, and you can also, if you want to hang out with me, visit me at my comic shop, Greenlight Comics in Adelaide, 18 Stevens Place down the side of the Myer Centre. Just off on the mall down the side of the Myer Centre. Come in there. There's a whole horror section. There's horror comics. Lots of I try and keep Clive Barker comics in stock as much as I can because I like Clive Barker. And that's about it, really. And remember, until next week, may all your dreams be nightmares.